Chinese leftover women. Have you ever heard of what happens to women in China after they reach over the age of 35? Well, let's dive into it, shall we? Hello there, my name is Sarah, and welcome to this video with all your friends here from Passport Journey. Are you men ready to discover the beauty of Asian women and the wonders that our world has to offer? If your answer is yes, then you've come to the right place. Now, in this episode, we will talk about Chinese leftover women. You know, the term leftover women, 剩女, is used in China to describe women who are still single after the age of 27. First off, let's get one thing straight. The idea of leftover women is rooted in traditional expectations and societal pressures. In China, there's a huge emphasis on marriage, family, and continuing the lineage. If you're not hitched by your late 20s, you're seen as past your prime. Now, these women, highly educated, successful in their careers, financially independent, are not your average Jane Does. They've got their degrees, they're climbing the corporate ladder, and they're making their mark in the world. Yet despite all this, they're labeled as leftover. Why? Because they've dared to prioritize their careers and personal goals rather than a husband and a family first. Here's the kicker. While men in China are often seen as more desirable as they age, gaining wisdom and stability, unfortunately for women in China, they are viewed as depreciating assets. This double standard is as blatant as it is unfair. But then again, life is not fair either, and these women are facing the harsh reality of societal expectations head-on. You choose a life of a single man or a dependable wife. I believe these modern women don't understand. You can pick one, but you can't have it all. And what makes it worst, these women don't want to settle for just anyone. They want someone who matches their ambition, intellect, and success. But these women never ask themselves, do the man I want me? At some point in China, I believe education has hurt women just like the women in the West. The truth is, these women are caught in a catch-22. They've worked their asses off like a man to achieve their dreams, but these dreams come with consequences that most women are not ready for. The problem is, they refuse to lower their standards because they think a relationship with a man is on the same level as a relationship with their careers. In my opinion, these women deserve that title, leftover women. And I know modern women don't want to hear this, but this is a man's world for a reason. Men have built the infrastructure, the roads, the stores, and the streets that us modern women are able to live and thrive on today. You know, I never heard a man say, wow, check out her amazing degree. Here's a story from a leftover woman named Shu Chun. She is 36, unmarried, and without a boyfriend. She says, it's not the independent, clear-headed heroine you might imagine. In reality, she's afraid of dating and afraid of relationships. She says she can't even think about marriage. It's not because she is not trying. She says she started a business and bought a house for herself. But when it comes to marriage, she feels weak. She said she's been going on many blind dates. But she feels like many of these men judged her for age. But I would say rightfully so, because modern don't think about what men want or what men desire. Then she says she meets someone she likes and they get along really well. But she says if she show any temper, the guy always say, you're not young anymore. And because of her age, many things become intolerable to her. For this reason alone, men don't want to date older women. The majority of these women don't believe compromising with their man. In fact, these older women could care less about what their man wants, because it's always about what she feels and what's best for her. Unfortunately, most modern women struggle with the idea of putting a man's priorities above her own, especially when she lives and thinks like a single man as well. From my perspective, this is what older women should be teaching the young women. But as we all know, modern women don't tell other women the truth. They just say what makes women feel good. It's also worth mentioning that the concept of leftover women reflects poorly on society, not the women themselves. But it's how we teach women, and unfortunately, these are the consequences of women who choose to be independent, like it or not. Believe it or not, many Chinese women are becoming cat parents, simply because with all their education and money, it's just impossible for these women to find marriage. I think the requirements of the average modern Chinese woman is ridicules. For men in China, there is a height requirement, 5 feet 10, 8 in 2 or 3 bedroom house, condo minimum 1076 square 50. Also a brand new car. a dowry of 28,000 in cash to the family of the bride, 3 months' salary for a wedding ring, a huge dream wedding. This cannot be a cheap wedding at a recreational center. A huge dream honeymoon also paid in full, and a high-paying white-collar position at work. This is what modern Chinese women request of average men in China. It is estimated that 70% to 80% of all Chinese men are virgins, at least until age 30. And just like the young men in the West, getting a serious modern woman as a girlfriend in China can be tough due to these women demands. Also, I must say, many of these pressures to be successful and study very hard for modern Chinese women comes from the parents. For these parents, these young women are told to study hard, make money, and find a husband all at the same time. Then after the parents tell these young women to get your degree and get your master's, then these parents will say, "Why aren't you married? You are 27 years old and you need to find a husband next week." But I would ask this, if the parents are forcing the young women to get degrees, don't talk to young men, and only study every day, how can it be the young lady's fault when she is 23 and she don't understand why no men want her? Unfortunately, all this pressure that the parents put on their children to be educated and make money actually pushes the child away from the parents in their later years. Because these young are seeing that even their own family don't really care about them. All their family care about is how much they are worth financially. And in case you have not heard, there are over 70 million leftover women in China today. That is a lot of women. Also, believe it or not, the label leftover women was the name choosing by Chinese women of the Chinese society in 2007. The Chinese government used the term leftover women to pressure Chinese women to get married in a traditional society. I believe that the same Chinese government, who started the one-child policy back in 1979 and ended in 2015, is now seeing the results of a growing separated economy. In fact, the one-child policy has created more males than females in China. I must say this has created an imbalance in China, and more often than not Chinese women are told they don't really have a worth if they don't marry and find a husband. But it's not just in China. In Japan, women who don't marry by the age of 25 is called a Christmas cake. Because in Japan, just like the Christmas cake for sale during the month of December, nobody wants to buy a leftover Christmas cake after the 25th of December. However, in China, parents can go to a marriage market. It's a public place where parents can try to find and arrange a husband for their daughter. Now, of course, the parents want what's best for their child. But I heard that these Chinese markets are pretty brutal, especially because most women have a hard time accepting the terms of a man. But this makes me wonder, will the next generation in China have something to look forward to? If you are new here, you enjoy my content, and I've given you some value. All I ask is, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for our newest videos. And as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time, this is Sarah from Passport Journey saying, I wish you happy trails, safe travels, and whatever you do, try to find a nice young Chinese woman.